Following Trump's election victory, many world leaders extended their congratulations, with Germany highlighting shared values and strong economic ties between Europe and the United States. German officials expressed optimism, stating, "Together, we can achieve much more than against each other." This sentiment reflects broader global apprehension. It's not just South Africa that finds itself navigating uncertainty. European leaders, too, are bracing for turbulence. Trump and his inner circle harbor a deep disdain for the European Union and its principles, a stance unlikely to shift. Thus, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has valid reasons to be concerned about potential developments. A seasoned summit attendee suggests that successfully engaging Trump might involve focusing on a few key issues where consensus exists among other leaders, and then working to bring him on board. Another strategy for Ramaphosa could be framing an idea as if it originated from Trump himself. This involves referencing previous comments or tweets from Trump and linking them to elements of the summit's communiqué. Given Trump's history of sweeping generalizations about various countries, this approach may prove feasible. This year, Ramaphosa will host the first G20 summit since Trump's return to the White House. Global leadership on such a stage plays to Ramaphosa's strengths, as he thrives in high-profile settings. The G20 gathering will be the largest assembly of world leaders in South Africa since Nelson Mandela's funeral in 2013, with Trump among 40 heads of state expected to attend during an intense schedule of meetings among developed and emerging nations. What do Trump and Ramaphosa have in common? Both are wealthy businessmen turned politicians with a shared passion for golf, a potential starting point for camaraderie. Russia's relationship with South Africa may also play a role. Moscow has long held a favorable view of Pretoria, while Trump has often portrayed Putin as an ally. Some speculate that this dynamic could lead to alignment between Trump and Ramaphosa on issues like Russia's invasion of Ukraine, though such outcomes are far from guaranteed. Elon Musk has emerged as a key ally for Trump during this presidential race. Musk has been lobbying Ramaphosa to approve the expansion of Starlink into South Africa, a move that could provide an opportunity to strengthen ties between Trump and Ramaphosa. This initiative could serve as a fallback if the phone call orchestrated by Johann Rupert between the two leaders fails to yield results. In Pretoria, officials view Trump primarily as a dealmaker and believe his transactional approach could pave the way for productive engagement. This sentiment was echoed by Clayson Monyela in a now-deleted tweet, where he noted that South Africa has historically maintained a positive working relationship with Republican administrations. Ramaphosa's strategy will face its first test next month when Marco Rubio, Trump's nominee for Secretary of State, is expected to attend the G20 foreign ministers meeting. This interaction may provide an early indication of how South Africa can navigate relations with Trump's administration. During Trump's previous tenure as the 45th President of the United States, he never visited Africa. His diplomatic style was marked by unpredictability, decisiveness, and, at times, aggression.
You go over to China, 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 China. You take China.
China.
China. I love them. China.
His America First approach left many African nations concerned about potential cuts to aid and preferential trade agreements.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
As Trump enters his second presidency, these concerns have resurfaced, particularly in light of his past disparaging remarks about the continent. South Africa, as a leading power in Africa, finds itself in a precarious position. Trump's infamously offensive characterization of the country underscores the challenges ahead. Ramaphosa and his government have every reason to approach this presidency with caution, given the potential implications for South Africa's economic and diplomatic standing. Trump's presidency is likely to present significant challenges for Ramaphosa's administration across several critical areas: trade relations and AGOA. Trump's return could inject uncertainty into the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which provides duty-free access to the US market for certain African goods. South Africa's inclusion in AGOA has been contentious, with Trump previously criticizing its trade practices and partnerships, particularly with China, Russia, and India. Any new tariffs or restrictions on South African exports could jeopardize jobs and economic growth, especially in key sectors like agriculture, manufacturing, and automotive industries. Although the outgoing administration renewed South Africa's AGOA eligibility, this decision may be revisited within the next year. Foreign aid and investment is another key area that could be impacted. Trump's America First policy could lead to a reduction in foreign aid and a diminished US economic presence in Africa. For South Africa, this might translate into cuts to vital programs like PEPFAR, the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, which has played a crucial role in combating HIV/AIDS. A reduction in American aid could severely impact healthcare and development initiatives in the country. Then there is global and African diplomacy. Trump's return could signal reduced US engagement with multilateral organizations, such as the United Nations and the World Health Organization. This shift would hinder global cooperation on issues important to South Africa, including climate change, health crises, and peacekeeping missions. Ramaphosa, who has been a vocal advocate for African interests on the global stage, might face fewer opportunities for collaboration and influence under a Trump administration. Trump's victory could embolden populist and conservative movements worldwide, potentially intensifying scrutiny of Ramaphosa's domestic policies, including land reform, social spending, and economic redistribution. Trump's unpredictable approach to diplomacy may also pressure South Africa to align with US positions on contentious issues, complicating its internal policies and its leadership role in African diplomacy. The geopolitical landscape and BRICS dynamics are among the most significant challenges Ramaphosa will face under a Trump-led United States, particularly given Trump's adversarial stance toward China. Ramaphosa's deepened ties with China and Russia may come under strain as Trump pushes to isolate China and curtail its influence in Africa. Trump has signaled an aggressive foreign policy approach upon his return to the White House, pledging to impose tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China on his first day in office. He has also threatened similar punitive measures against BRICS nations if the bloc proceeds with plans to reduce reliance on the US dollar in international trade. Trump has demanded commitments from BRICS countries not to create an alternative currency and warned of imposing a 100% tariff as retaliation. Maintaining the US dollar as the global reserve currency is a cornerstone of Trump's economic agenda. In a March interview, he declared that he would not allow countries to go off the dollar, due to the potential harm it could inflict on the US economy. Sources suggest Trump and his advisors are considering measures to penalize both allies and adversaries engaging in non-dollar bilateral trade, including export controls, accusations of currency manipulation, and trade tariffs. While these threats aim to enforce compliance, Trump's approach is, in a sense, predictable. His strategies and goals are often clearly articulated, making his moves easier to anticipate. For Ramaphosa, navigating this environment will require skill and determination. As one of the most influential African leaders on the global stage, he has the potential to champion South Africa's interests. However, with the Democratic Alliance as part of the government, Ramaphosa's ability to prioritize South Africa's strategic partnerships may be constrained. The DA has historically pushed for alignment with Western powers, often at the expense of alternative alliances. Opposition parties allied with the DA have similarly emphasized prioritizing relations with the West. This political dynamic may pressure Ramaphosa to forge closer ties with Trump, potentially undermining South Africa's partnerships within BRICS and its broader international strategy. Balancing these competing interests will be critical for Ramaphosa as he seeks to protect South Africa's economic and geopolitical priorities. Action SA leader Herman Mashaba emphasized the importance of South Africa maintaining and strengthening its relationship with the United States, regardless of who occupies the presidency or any differences in international relations. He highlighted that over 600 US companies operate in South Africa, with bilateral trade exceeding $20 billion annually. Mashaba stressed that South Africa must actively participate in international cooperation to work toward a better world. Maiman echoed these sentiments, advocating for continued collaboration with the West. This perspective underscores the tension within South Africa's political landscape. The ANC-led government is under pressure from coalition partners, like the DA and aligned opposition parties, to align with Western powers. However, South Africa's primary global partnerships lie with China, Russia, and the broader BRICS bloc. This divergence reflects the complex balancing act Ramaphosa's administration faces in navigating its domestic political dynamics and global strategic alliances. As such, his ability to navigate the upcoming Trump administration will be critical to safeguarding South Africa's economic and diplomatic interests.